Okay, people, we're going to start. I'm going to need your attention. Thanks. So, what are we going to do now? For people that already know the Philosophical Café, is very easy. We're going to choose a topic and discuss the topic. Nothing else, nothing more. Just that, very easy. But we don't really used to do that in everyday life, so we will have to pay a little bit of attention. Because we have not to overlap other people. So, for example, if Marta is speaking, I'm not going to speak on Marta.
Luz. I changed the name.
Old memories.
Yeah, I know.
And if somebody speaks, you have to listen to other people, and you have to be loud, like I am now, because otherwise, for example, if Arkadiusz speaks, even Nathan have to hear him, and Nathan, if you speak, even Arkadiusz have to hear you. So it's going to be, okay, be loud when you speak. You're going to have 2 minutes. We have new clepsydra. That is because every time that I was giving time, everybody was complaining, you gave me more time, you gave me less time. Now we have clepsydra, and it's that. Okay? It's not my decision. What are we going to do as the beginning? As the beginning, you're going to just choose the topic. So, what's going to do? What are we going to do? You raise up your hands, and you say, I would like to discuss that. Just brainstorm, okay? Doesn't matter if the topic you're discussing about, you're thinking about, is the best topic on the planet. You just propose the topic. You just propose what you want. Even if it's just a stupid idea, like unicorns in modern times, you can propose this topic. Why not? Maybe people would like to discuss unicorns in modern times. I mean, at least one. So, please remember that during the Philosophical Café you can always ask for a drink or something, it's not a problem. But of course don't be loud when you ask for drinks and stuff. You just go there and you ask for what you want. And that's it. Raise your hands to propose your topics. Okay. Once again, your name?
Lisa.
Lisa.
Whether propaganda can be good or not.
Propaganda can be good. Thank you. We're going to take about 10, so feel free to add stuff.
To what extent are we responsible for someone else's emotions?
To which
Extent?
extent
Are we
we are
responsible
responsible for each our emotions?
I have one. So, is aggression the same as violence?
Is aggression and we have 3. Who's going to propose the 4th one? Please remember that even if you already proposed it, you can still propose something more.
I have one.
Nathan?
How honest is modern science?
I have one. How can you be?
What's your name?
Zulia. How can you stay pure in the trash?
How can you?
Stay pure in the trash.
How can you stay pure in the trash? Thank you, Julia. Actually, for the people that are here for the first time, I'm Guido Gattari and I'm the organizer, as you probably already guessed. And I was teaching philosophy for many times. I was founder and director of the Festival of Philosophy of Florence. And on the internet site you can find all the information about me. Probably you're not that interested about me, but about my job and about other meetings. So feel free to join the site. But topic number 6.
I am one.
Arkadiusz.
Mine's a bit strange.
I like strange.
But very basic. Okay, so if I ask a random girl for sex, do I violate her what? Do I violate her what? Boundaries. Okay, yes.
Do I violate?
Her boundaries.
Boundaries.
Her boundaries.
Otherwise, the question might be like the opposite sex. You don't have to be like man to
Okay,
woman, right?
Okay, exactly.
Equality,
So,
right?
yes. But basically,
Random person.
we don't know each
Random
other.
person, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So who can get?
Okay. Thank you. We still need 3 topics before we vote. Please, people, join, propose stuff.
Today is my first time.
Exactly for that you have to propose, because the first time you can't, so
I know it will be very good, but I don't know.
you can even just use a topic like love.
Yeah, love. True
Love.
love. True love.
True
Right.
love.
Nature of true.
Your name was again?
Listen.
Oh, thank
True
you.
love.
True love.
True love.
Why not? In this moment we're just proposing topics, so every topic is a good topic.
Okay.
You? I thank you. Lisa, Lisa?
Is globalization more negative or positive?
Is globalization more positive or negative?
Zupełnie inny język, jaki uczymy się w szkole, nie? Tak skrótami.
Mine.
Should plus size models feature on the cover
Jak
of
polski
magazines?
jest dwójki widać.
They are screening, so I don't hear.
Okay, should plus size models feature on the covers of magazines? Couldn't?
Sorry.
Plus size models.
Lost blue side models, okay?
Feature on the covers of magazines.
Okay. On the covers of magazines. Okay. Lydia.
Is the world becoming a better place or worse?
Is the world
Becoming a better place or worse?
becoming
Lots of this question in ancient times as well. You know, like this situation that they were like, you know, the youth start
and who proposed nothing?
on a stone table.
Do you have some idea? We can still add something. Yeah.
What do you think about
Your name is again?
what do you think about body positive movement?
Your name was again?
My name is
Karina. Karina. Positive?
Positive body, positive.
Body. Thank you, Karina.
You don't carry your partner. basically. That's the one.
Body positivity. We can still have some because you proposed nothing,
Oh no.
nothing from the sisters,
One from you.
one from you.
Right.
Chris.
Would we pay more for a meat that is 5 times as expensive, but made without any suffering from animals, like artificial? The same taste, just more expensive. So, no suffering. Yeah, just. Ethical meat, much more expensive.
So we already have Nathan, we already have who proposed nothing, nothing, nothing? You. Okay.
No.
Pass?
For now.
Okay.
Next time, but I will.
At least 1 and 2. Come on.
I have idea.
Okay. Your name was again? Olena.
This modern world is world of extroverts.
Is modern world?
It's a world of extroverts. Like 4 extroverts.
I would say yes, because I was shy as a kid and I had to rape myself to be able to do that. Literally, and I still have to do it because probably you see it, I'm very stressed when I do that. But still, I have to do that, so enjoy. So, now we're going to defend. What does it mean to defend, actually? It means that, for example, the first topic is being proposed by Lisa. And so I'm going to call the first topic and give 2 minutes to somebody that is not Lisa to tell us why it would be a good idea to discuss about her topic. Okay? So you have to defend someone else's topic. And what does it mean exactly to defend? To defend, it doesn't mean this sentence is right. That's not defending the topic, that's defending the sentence. Defending the topic, it means that you try to convince us to discuss about it. Why it would be an interesting topic to discuss about, okay? Why is it very problematic, this topic?
Do we get any pointers of the original question poster? Like, can I ask her what she meant, or do I have to defend what's in the topic?
You have to defend what's in the topic.
Okay.
And if you misunderstand, doesn't matter, because if we're going to have a discussion, you will have all the time to ask and to clarify all the way along. But sometimes misunderstanding for philosophy, it can be very useful, because if we understand each other perfectly, there is no philosophy at all. Have you noticed that, for example, in Netherlands, they have almost no philosophy? Because every time that they have a new problem, they have a new philosopher, they understand everything and they stop. That's it, actually they had just a couple, they had Erasmus and Spinoza, and that's it. Because they perfectly understand each other. But what about ancient Greece? In ancient Greece, people were not understanding each other at all, because you have a lot of words that means a thing and the opposite. So they had a lot of philosophy because they had to understand each other all the time. And in this process, actually, you can discover some hidden signification of a word that you didn't even thought about. So it can be very interesting to be misunderstood, because you can discover what you've never been thinking about when you pose the question. It's productive, it's proficient to be misunderstood sometimes in philosophy. Okay. So. Yeah, okay.
It's fair because to them we're just loud voices as well, so it's fair.
Hi, Victor. And we still have a chair, so don't put any pop up. So, Okay, first topic proposed by Lisa, whether propaganda can be good. Who wants to defend? Luz. Ah no, sorry, wrong one, Luz, you go.
Okay. So, propaganda has basically a very bad press, right? I mean, it really means something that should be put down your throat and something that you should swallow. But perhaps propaganda can be also a tool of greater use. For example, it could be used to make people understand something more, or maybe change their behavior for something more pro-social, right? It's a powerful tool. It's a little bit like being manipulated. Is manipulation really wrong if you actually manipulate something to the group? That's it.
So, thank you.
Actually, my studies in philosophy. I'm
Zuza proposed to which extent we are responsible for each other's emotions. Who wants to defend?
I couldn't understand the beginning of the sentence.
To which extent we are responsible for each other's emotions.
I can defend it, but it's boring if it will be only me.
I could defend this.
Okay, thank you.
And I would say only because it's very close to my topic. Basically that means that, I mean, if you want to be free, I should be free to express myself freely, right? But of course, first I have emotions, okay, I'm responsible for them, I express myself, I care about my emotions. But then, any single time if I'm in the relationship with someone, I mean, any relationship, yes, emotions or emotional part is present, is a constant element of that experience. So, yeah, that's the question. To which extent I can afford to freely express myself, or I should always be careful about the other's emotions. Also, we know that we are messed up with our emotions and we don't really control them. There are different ways to manage your emotions, but some of us, I think, will also reject the idea of managing your emotions. So, why, if I would consider you completely messed up and I did something that I would feel is absolutely okay, correct, decent, right, positive, your reaction will be so weird to me. I'm responsible for your emotions.
So why exactly is interesting for you the topic?
I think, no, because this is super interesting, and why is it interesting? Because it happens all the time, right?
Because, okay, because it's very, something that we face very often. Thank you so much.
We are living that experience.
We do, I totally agree. So, we have something proposed by Luz that was, is aggression the same as violence? Who wants to defend? Is aggression the same of violence? So this one I like, so if nobody is defending, I'm going to defend. Okay, if nobody is defending. Aggression is the same as violence or not?
I don't know, but first can I aggression means
aggression, it's in Polish is agression.
Okay, aggression. Okay. But violence is
Okay, so first time I'm going to defend one, just for a change. I think it could be interesting because aggression usually can be actually even, in a sense, the philosophical opposite of violence. Because I can be aggressive to defend myself, but to aggress is another thing. So there are people that are really aggressive, like they start the fight, but they're not very violent. For example, they just speak a lot, but they're not very violent, they're just aggressive. And there are people that are very violent, like for example, they never start a fight, but if they start a fight, they will kill you with a gun. But usually we take aggressive and violent as synonyms. So it could be interesting to go through that and see if maybe in modern society it's the same thing or not. And what every single person thinks can be just a thing. Nathan proposes, how honest is modern science? Thank you very much. You defend or you don't defend, actually. Because, I mean, or we can have a double defense. We can try it, actually. Why not? Who wants to defend first?
What happens after?
She's proposing to sum up. Like, for example, you defend, you say like why you would like to discuss about how honest is modern science, and she will, if I well understood, you will sum up. Like,
first someone will go and second I will defend. Okay, I just made
okay, thank you.
You know, like which modern science is quite important right now. Like we have like climate change, COVID vaccinations, a lot of like contentious topics. Like many people opinion about, right? For example, if you believe science, climate change may be a very, very harsh perspective right? It will cost a lot of money to accommodate this and fight this. If we don't trust science, then we can say, okay, let's put this money to help people not to, for example, limit the greenhouse gas emissions. So that's a very, very important topic because it will cost us a lot of our time, effort, and money if we decide to trust science or not. If we don't trust science, there will be like huge clashes with, you know, for example, our governments, because our governments clearly pursue this path of trusting science with COVID vaccinations and climate change. Is it true? Is it right or not? That's we should discuss, right? That's a discussion. Right? So I would say it's a very important topic, right? It will affect everyone here, and our children, our grandchildren as well. Right?
Thank you for defending. Now we have a topic proposed by Julia.
No, I didn't defend. He went the first, now I want to defend.
Okay, go with it.
So, first of all,
Could you please speak up a little?
First of all, there is things that the science can be bought by money. But I defend that science, like without science, we wouldn't be sitting here with the electricity and so on. We would be the one who killed the scientific researchers and those big names. So this is my defense.
You don't have to defend science, you have to defend the reason why we should discuss about it. So if you're sure that science is just right, there is no discussion.
Yes, science is right. Without that, we wouldn't be staying here, right?
But that's not defending the topic, because the topic is about discussing if it's right. So you don't want to discuss it.
Not just right, but honest.
Honest, I'm sorry, honest.
I think that from honest side, right now, there is we have skepticism because you can buy science. You know what I mean?
I'm not really, sorry.
Maybe we should stick to one.
We should stick to this one. You know, this topic seems very hot, so maybe we should actually...
Yeah, I think it's going to be voted by you. Thank you for both of you for defending. And Julia proposed, how can you...
Julia, not Julia.
Zulia, thank you. Actually, I wrote it with Z, but I was pronouncing like, I don't know.
Italian.
Zulia proposed, how can you stay pure in the trash? Who wants to defend?
Pure in trash.
Yes.
Okay, I will try.
Thank you.
I think that's an important topic to discuss day bombarded by information that we don't like to hear or absorb, and since we have a lot of stimuli on an everyday basis, this trash can be understood in this also metaphorical way, or like, as I said, information that we don't want to interact with. And I think it's just useful and practical to figure out the ways that we can protect ourselves. Yeah, so it is, I see it applicable in everyday life. That's why we should explore this topic.
Thank you so much. And we go for Arkadiusz that proposes, if I ask a random person for sex, do I violate the boundaries of this person or not? Who wants to defend?
I think it's free will and freedom of the voice. You don't violate it.
You don't have to say your opinion in this moment, okay? You have to defend the topic or not.
Isn't it defend? Like, what do you mean by defend?
I told you already, defending a topic is to say why, in your opinion, it could be interesting to discuss about that. Why, in your opinion, is interesting to listen to other people's opinion about this topic. That's defending a topic. Then we will discuss, but we will defend, vote, and when we vote, then you will be doing that. So you will say your opinion, and other people will do the same. Yes?
I can defend.
Okay, Nathan is defending.
Yes.
Wait a second. And you can defend Arkadiusz.
Okay, I think boundaries are really interesting and very cultural, both like proximity boundaries and interpersonal boundaries, and what people think are and aren't appropriate. Very different person to person. And sex is the hot topic, so like how you interact with another person in regards to sex is like at the core of what we think our boundaries are, and I find it really interesting. So that's why I want to talk about it.
Thank you, Nathan, for defending this topic. Ezin proposed true love. That is an evergreen, by the way. So, who wants to defend true love?
I can try.
Thank you, Arkadiusz.
So, I mean, I ended up with sex because it was easier for me to maybe close it in boundaries. But I was actually thinking about love. So, like, recently, I don't know where it was coming to me, but topics like related to God, topics related to truth, topics related to self-realization, topics related to happiness. It was somehow coming down to love as a, I don't know, common denominator, and love as an aspiration. I don't know, literature, music. It's crazy how much we are obsessed with love, and at the same time how much we are, I don't know, like, maybe I say we are, okay, perhaps I am. Distance to that, I feel like the world is trying to identify it, to name it, but it's...
Sorry, just one second. Can you open up so we'll have one chair more for Jan and Victor? Thank you.
It's something so...
Yes, if you open a little bit, somebody can sit even on the stairs, so we're going to have one seat more. You can maybe take off one chair. Sorry, Arkadiusz, but yes. But are you sure Victor is fine for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Arkadiusz.
Yeah.
Please go on. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, what I said, I do believe you also see, you feel, you know, our cultures are also very much, I don't know, sunk maybe in love. I would also say is being happy, being in love, being loved, and maybe one thing came to my mind very few times, but I met few of my friends at some times of their lives that they said the most important thing for me now is to be loved. So yeah, I would like to just explore why, first of all, yeah, does it actually make sense? Yes, doesn't really make sense. Doesn't really make sense to the Colombians.
Could I also add a few words?
Yes?
Like, I'm really intrigued by the meaning of the word true. What is true love? What is true milk? Prawdziwe mleko, for example. What is prawdziwy mężczyzna and all that? And like, what does it mean? And what really is true love? How do we understand it? So that's why it would be nice to explore this topic.
Actually, we had a lot of defense. So, Lisa proposed, is globalization more positive or negative? Who wants to defend? Who wants to defend the topic? Is globalization more positive or negative? Victor.
It's a very interesting topic. Right? First of all, it's quite old topic, but it's still alive. We're still arguing the same sort of thing since over a century now. And since there are so many people, for example, the conservatives now adopting the narrative that which is anti-globalization, localization, which is, for example, the slogan which Trump actually has learned from those kind of people. It's called American First. America First, and which is clearly an anti-globalization position. And on the other hand, we have so many problems even within the current frame of globalization. We haven't had enough globalization. Our globalization isn't even enough to solve those common problems, and so let's talk about it.
Thank you, Victor, for defending. Zuza proposed, should plus-size model feature on the covers of magazines? Who wants to defend?
No,
thank you.
Nobody else? All right. So the question is actually about your feeling of aesthetics and how it should, let's say, impact how the marketing looks, because that's basically marketing, the plus-size women on magazines. So is it really selling the thing, or is it actually unselling the thing? Should this be perceived as something that actually creates this new way of looking at human body, or perhaps it should be let's say, to still present somebody who is actually adhering to modern beauty standards, or should they be changed so the beauty standards actually match the plus-size women or men? At this point, that would be actually also, I would say, interesting addition. What about plus-size men in the modeling industry? But that's just a plus.
I agree. We should have more. Thank you for defending. Lydia proposed, is the world becoming better or worse place? Who wants to defend? Who thinks that discussing about the world becoming a better or worse place would be interesting? Yeah.
I agree. So I think for developing countries, the world changed for the good in the last 10 years because more or less like poverty decreases over time, at least when you look to South America and maybe also Eastern Europe. But in terms of problems with environment, I would say it's the biggest problem. I think, in my opinion, it's changed a bit to that side. But if we could maybe solve the problems, we can at least like keep it stable. So, but I think it depends from person to person and which opinion everyone has. So yeah, we can talk about it.
Thank you for defending. Jan, Karina proposed, body positive movement, is it a good thing or not? Thank you for proposing. Who's going to defend? It's very similar to the other, to the previous one that Luz proposed, defended actually. Yes, it's very similar. Do you want to defend?
Could you please repeat the question?
Is it body positive movement a good idea or not?
So, because it is related to the topic that I proposed, the question here is whether we should promote something that is unhealthy, in fact, because obesity breeds a lot of health problems, and it's not only a matter of aesthetics, but also a matter of possible health consequences. And shouldn't we strive to be healthy, and shouldn't we promote that? And is it, and yeah, it's nice to explore what what the benefits and disadvantages of such movement are for us, and how far it will take us.
Can I just add one
Yes.
sentence? So I think an interesting question to ask here is really somebody else's help our business? Is really somebody else's help our business?
And here now I think about it that this body positive movement is not only about like obesity and overweight and so on, but also people who are disabled, and yet we don't get to see much of their bodies in the public sphere, in the media, and so on. Yeah, so that's yet another aspect.
So we have a lot of things to discuss about that. And Chris proposed, would you pay more for a meat without suffering? Who wants to defend? Who wants to discuss if it's a good idea to have a different kind of meat, produced meat?
I think it's important to have a meat in your meal because of B12 that you cannot have in any other food, and you don't want to take in medicine instead of B12.
So that's your opinion about, but do you think we have to discuss about it?
Why not?
Okay. Yes?
Like sustainability, environment, ecology, making the world a better place. I think sustainable in terms of do we have a future? Some people already are concerned about it's impossible. And as a fact, meat consumption is an important factor here. So. So yes, one of the solutions to live with that is to produce the other types of meats, which is happening now. I would rather ask the question how to do it. Like, given that all the shops, grocery shops in Poland are let's say, falling apart because of the chains of Biedronka, etc. Clearly, people always want to buy cheapest. I want to buy cheap. So how to actually deal with this dichotomy of I want to get that deal, I'm going for the black market, and they are driving prices so low, and at the same time we know that we have to, and we have this alternative, which is 4, 3, 4, 5 times more expensive. So I would say how would be very interesting, and yeah, I think everyone can say something about this one. That's what I think is important.
Thank you so much for defending you both. We have the last topic to defend and then we will vote. So, Olena proposed, is modern world a world of extroverts? Who wants to defend? Do we live in a world of extroverts or not? Thank you.
So I think it's an interesting topic to discuss because there will be a lot of opinions on this topic, and I think there will be a lot of things to discuss because of, a lot of people say yes, it's a word for the extroverts because you're required to know how to speak in public, you have to go out to people, you have to do things, but at the same time there's the internet, and you can also, because the introvert can do things, I'm sure there will be a lot of different opinions and it will be an interesting topic.
Okay, thank you so much. So, please give me your attention for 1 second. What are we going to do? Now we're going to have 5 minutes of pause. So, please use this pause for bathroom, drinks and everything. Because I've been saying to you, okay, you can go for drinks, but you are going all the time. So it's going to be complicated because in this phase, you have to know what other people say. If you keep going away, it's going to be very difficult to stay in the discussion, okay? So please go now for bathroom, drinks and everything, and then we're going to sit down for like half an hour, okay? Vote and start the discussion. See you in 5 minutes. Okay, thank you for coming. Yeah. Usually yes. Power of authority that I don't have. Okay, beautiful people with bright minds. We're going to vote now. How is it going to work? First time you can even vote every single topic. So you can just raise your hand and put it down at the end of the vote. But in the end, we're going to make another vote if we have 2 or 3 topics that have more or less the same amount of votes, okay? So if we have 1 10 and 2 9, we're going to still have another vote, because 10 9, it can be just kind of a mistake. We must be sure about which one we want to discuss tonight. Get ready for the first vote. So, first topic, whether propaganda can be good. Who want to discuss about that? Whether propaganda can be good. 3, 4, 4. If I make some mistake and you notice it, please tell me, okay? I'm not trying to rig the vote, but I can make, of course, a lot of mistakes. Who wants to discuss about to which extent we are responsible for each other's emotions? 1, that's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Beautiful. Who wants to discuss about, is aggression the same as violence? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Who wants to discuss about how honest is modern science? How honest is modern science?
Honest, yes.
We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow. That's a hot topic. Who wants to discuss about how can you stay pure in trash? Guys, please don't do that, because I don't know if you're raising your hand or not. Or that. Because that is just like, I'm not sure if I'm voting or not. Are you voting or not?
No.
Oh, okay. That's why I'm trying to understand. I'm just trying. No, it's just because I didn't understand the vote. Once again, who want to discuss about how can you stay pure in the trash? Please vote. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Thank you guys for voting. And who wants to discuss about, if I ask a random person for sex, do I violate this person's boundaries? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Who wants to discuss true love? True love. Old classic.
Okay, we will talk about this in our home.
No, wait. Who wants to discuss about true love? Hands up.
Hands up, come on.
Not even you?
No, I am.
Nobody wants to discuss about true love?
No, it is not true.
Poor Cupid.
Okay, thank you.
Guys, we need a vote, a serious one, okay?
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
3. Okay.
Yes, three.
Okay. That's still a vote. Who wants to discuss about is globalization more positive or negative? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who wants to discuss? Who wants to discuss should plus size model feature on the covers of magazines? Hands up. 2, 3, 3. Who wants to discuss about is the world becoming a better or worse place? Is it the world becoming a better or worse place? For sure, more noisy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a voted topic. Who wants to discuss about is it positive, body positive movement a good movement or not? Hands up. 1. You're not generous, guys, today. Because usually everybody votes almost everything in the first round, but okay. Who wants to discuss about would you pay more for a meat without suffering? 3, 4, not many vegans today. Who wants to discuss is modern world a world of extroverts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not bad. So let's pick the 3 most voted. There is 4 and 10 and 13, actually. Of course. Actually, there is no vote because it was overvoted. Even a dog was passing by for vote.
I think so.
It's too much voted. We cannot discuss about it. So we have just 3 topics, and now you can vote for just one. Okay? So you vote and you put your hand on the table, so you're not going to vote twice. Yes. First, I'm going to read them all, and then you vote. 1. How honest is modern science? 2. Is the world becoming a better or worse place? And third one, is modern world a world of extroverts? You can vote just for one of those. Everybody heard about it, those topics? If somebody still misheard something, please tell me. Is it everything clear for everyone? Perfect. We're going to vote. Who wants to discuss about how honest is modern science? Hands up. You know that you're voting against yourself. Okay. Just making sure that you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hands on the table. If you already voted, the hand goes on the table. Who wants to discuss about is the world becoming a better or worse place? Hands up. 1, 2, 3. Hands on the table. Last one. Is modern world a world of extroverts? Who wants to vote? Oh, we have still 4. Not bad. But still, first topic won with 8 votes. How honest is modern science? So, how is it going to work? Very easy. Now we're going to give 2 minutes to Nathan, because Nathan is the winner. So Nathan has to introduce the topic, and you will tell us why you want to discuss about it, what you think about it. You're going to have a couple of blue minutes, because we have water when we have a lot of time, and fire when we have little time. That's just 1 minute. But at the beginning we have a lot of time, so we have a lot of water. You will tell us in 2 minutes why you think that this topic is very interesting for everybody to be discussed, and then everybody will be able to speak out. how does it work? You raise your hands. Everybody has paper and pen, yes or no? If you don't have paper and pen, you can use your mobile phone. You note down what you want to say about, okay? Because if, for example, Olena wants to speak, but before Olena there is still Marta, Luz, Nathan, and Jan, then Olena had to write down, okay? In order to remember everything. Everybody will have, hi Valentin? Everybody will have to listen and remember, because the turn can be even 10 or 20 minutes after, okay? You raise your hands, I know your name, and when you have your moment, I will give you the chance to speak for 2 minutes, because so far we have a lot of time. We're going to use the fire clepsydra in the end when we don't have a lot of time. And so yes, we start with Nathan. Please stand up when you speak.
All right, so I'm a big fan of the scientific method and having to have creative ideas and test those ideas again and again and again and prove them over time. I think we have a lot of good things in our society because of the scientific method. But I see 2 ways that things are running away from that. And one way, I think sometimes people over-credit science and they start to say, we're going to eventually figure this out and we can act like we've already figured it out. And free will is one of these things that bothers me. People act like science is going to figure out all of our decisions and we don't have free will. But science hasn't figured that out yet. Like we don't really know what conscience is, and it's almost like people treat science like a priest, like a religion or something like that, like they're going to have it all figured out someday, when there's not really signs of that. So that's one area that really bothers me. Another area that bothers me is that science can be bought off and is getting bought off a lot. There's things like science said that fat was a problem, but it actually turned out sugar was a problem. Science has, for pharmaceuticals, a number of falsified researches, and companies are buying science off in order to say their product is better. So that's also an area where I think science is less honest today, and I want to get everyone else's feedback about that. What are they seeing? Maybe I'm off base. Maybe science is a lot further along than I thought it was. But I'm a little bit disheartened lately, and I want to understand what other people think too. So that's why I brought it up.
Thank you, Nathan. Who wants to answer for us first? Please disagree completely, because we need the discussion. So, Jan, please stand up so everybody will listen to you easily.
Yeah, I think actually, first of all, great topic. I have to give credit to it. I think actually science is a good thing, but in the last years, or actually decade, I would say too much science is correlated to money also. So if we, for example, take pharmacy, we think like it's correlated to science, but also they want to make money. It's a huge industry. In a neutral perspective, I would say like science is a good thing, but if some pharmacy company buying statistics and say their product is better than the other or it isn't, and related on science, I think that's a bad thing. But you always have to think it in a neutral way. I always see like 2 different groups in society, like one of them is like against society and one of the other is like for society or for religion or whatever. So I think the answer is in the middle, but yeah, my opinion, I think there's too much, it's too correlated to the money and to fake statistics, or basically fake statistics, I don't know, but that's just like my impression, what I have from modern science or pharmacy, and yeah, I think that's my problem with it, but I think like as in every topic, the answer is in between actually. So yeah, that's my impression.
Thank you, Jan. Somebody else?
Maybe I can just quickly build
Lydia,
on
yes?
what you said already. So I think
the problem might be that some of the research is sponsored by some industries, right? So there's like research on whether milk is healthy or not, and then we find out it's sponsored by the milk industry. So of course, like the results that we get will not be exactly, or might not be honest, right? Because it's sponsored not by some independent body, it's sponsored by the industry that's actually profiting from that, right? So how can we expect the results to be honest in that case? So I think we don't know about many of such cases. We just see the final result, we just read about it, we find out. But then if we dig deeper, we find out, okay, who is standing behind this research? Who provided the money for that? It's like the meat, or meat is so healthy. And then we look, oh, okay, it was sponsored by the meat industry. And of course for them, it's necessary to, to market meat as a healthy thing, because they make money out of that. And then they sponsor such research, and that's a problem, right? Because, I mean, then you cannot really believe that this research is honest. And then it undermines the other research as well that might be actually good, right? That might be actually honest. And because we found out this one was not right, so maybe the others were not right too, right? So that's the honesty thing.
Something else, if I may.
Of course you can. Please, people, feel free to raise up your hands if something comes up in your mind, and feel free to disagree on other people, because we are totally free here. It's not Facebook, there is no censorship.
So I think that the problem is that we often are exposed to the results of the research or like scientific method, but we don't know the way or the process in which these results were achieved. And even if we are exposed to this method, we are not able to understand it because we lack the measures to actually understand this, if the result is honest or not. Like, so imagine that you, I don't know, get the result of like some research, but that was conducted on some group, but we don't know how big the group really is. So let's say that we buy a product that 90% of users had confirmed to be effective and efficient, and then we learn that the group of these consumers before was actually, let's say, 50 people. But it never features on the labels of the products that we buy. Can you all hear me?
Yes. You're screaming as fuck, actually, if there is something here.
Okay, I'll try my best. So to sum it up, we are not able to measure the honesty of science because we are only exposed to the results, but we don't know on what they were based and how they were achieved. And even if we were, we lack this ability to understand because we don't speak the science language as ordinary users. So I suppose it would be beneficial to all of us to be educated on the topic, how to understand I don't know, the scientific world, let's say. Thank you.
Yes. You're Chris, yes?
Yes. As we're discussing modern science, I would like to be like the devil's advocate here for a moment, right? Because usually people now, yeah, I will try. People usually, for example, big pharma. We've heard about this notion, right? What does it mean? There's big companies that suck our blood by introducing very expensive, very expensive drugs for us, and we pay, for example, $1 million for a treatment for a kid who suffers from cancer, and we say $1 million for a small vial or a very actually simple drug. Why is it so, right? But then we forget, for example, it took many trials, many years of preparations, many efforts to prepare this one small drug for this one specific kid. Because, for example, leukemia is 1 million people, and so very rare bone cancer is, for example, on 100 people in Poland. When you develop drug for 1 million people, it will be cheap. When you develop drug, for example, for 100 people, it will be very expensive. What you just hear in the TV, it's millions of dollars per dose. Oh, it's outrageous. These big pharmas should be punished. They are horrible guys. They're capitalists. They just suck blood, right? And actually, if they wouldn't be there, those kids would have absolutely no chance. No one would give any effort to do it because, why should we? It's not our business, right? They try to make money out of it because if there is no money, no one will try to invest because there are not so many Santa Clauses there, so we like to try to help those kids, right? That's the first topic. The second topic I would for example, call why recently there's so much doubts around modern science. Why 50 years ago people more or less accepted the vaccines, the technology of radio transmission, of new car, new engines. It was so obvious science is good, right? Like nowadays harvesters go on the fields and gets all the seeds like in 1 hour, and in 100 years ago it was done by 100 people in 10 days, right? Nowadays we just get this as granted. And why so many people nowadays think science may be corrupt or bad? I think one of the reasons is us being extroverts in social media. Because imagine, if for example, Kim Kardashian would say, I drink milk every day, I want to be healthy. No one would notice this fact, because this is like obvious. And if she's gonna say, I will not take any vaccines, I will not take any aspirin because I want to be healthy, this would be something conspicuous. She would be heard by many because, wow, she said something unusual. I want to hear that. What's happening? Wow. On the other hand, if I want to be famous, I want to say something outrageous. In Poland, we have a celebrity, Elta Górniak, and she's sometimes saying stupid shit, but everyone knows she's saying this. Why? Because she wants to be, she says stupid things, and everyone thinks, oh, maybe something there's to it, right? Because she is famous and she says this. And I'm absolutely sure she said it because she wants to be famous, right? If she would go with the herd, that's called like herd with the majority of people, she wouldn't be so conspicuous, she wouldn't be so famous, right? If you want to be famous, you need to say something, vaccines are bad, I don't know, like aspirin is bad. Then you will be heard, right? And therefore I see so many people doubt modern science. Yeah, because nowadays we just hear the very unusual opinions. The normal opinions, like try to eat vegetables and the glass of milk every 2 days, that's a normal opinion. And if they say, drink, mud from ponds, that would be something, wow, that's something, maybe that's true, maybe that's not, but this will be heard, right? Because it's flashy, it's flamboyant, something like this, right? So, thank you.
Thank you a lot. We have other people contributing. Yes, of course you can.
So just to answer your question, I was just thinking about that. You said, oh, why people before were accepting science so on and so eagerly. I was just thinking, DDT, this thing, people were accepting it so openly. I saw pictures of kids bathing in that and so on. And then, DDT?
It's a special substance that was used for pesticides. Right?
Yeah, it's just like kind of pesticides. People were using it everywhere. And then, there were kids born. Yes, it appeared to be toxic. DDT. Oh, it was like 50 years ago. Something like that. And it was very, efficient. But then, kids were being born with deformities, some things were happening, and people were so accepting of that. And then it came out, it was really harmful, right? So I guess now we know this history, right? What was happening before. That's why maybe people are less accepting. Just like a thought.
Of course. May I just add a funny fact? Do you know a substance called asbestos, right? It's very, very bad. So just 50 years ago, there was a new brand of cigarettes because there was the first gossips coming that smoking is bad, right? So they introduced our first cigarette. Oh, our brand will be better because we'll have filters added to our cigarettes. And guess which substance they used for this?
Asbestos.
Yeah. So anyway.
Hands up, guys. Valentin.
So I understood that the topic is science honest or
Is modern science honest or not?
I think we can speak about two things, about science as a millenary tradition, scientific method. We can talk about research as a separate topic. We can talk about administrative or political power employing or interpreting scientific research or data to construct policies different countries and so on. And then we can talk about how businesses can have a particular interest in influencing how data from research is seen or conclusions, how, let's say, scientific research might show something that could be beneficial to the business. And we have this case with big pharma, what you mentioned here. There have been numerous cases that can attest this is a true fact that big businesses have tried and probably try to influence scientific research. The biggest lawsuit in United States history regarding this topic was Pfizer, who has paid before all of this corona stuff the biggest sum of money as a compensation for their for the fact that they influenced research, and also they did also advertising regarding their products. Like if we would just do a bit of research on this, a lot of major pharma companies are really guilty, and all of them are like analysts who paid so much for mass marketing and influence research. Same thing with also agricultural studies, food studies, and so on, everything that can be mass marketed. Generally, I think the whole period with the pandemic started this discussion about people trusting or not trusting science, and I see a lot of people who employ simple statements like, I trust science, don't you trust science? Let's trust science. Like, they don't have really a clue what science is. Like, they never did more than 3 classes of math in high school, and they have an idea that they actually know anything about how research is done and how can it be trusted. Like, what is science? When people talk in such simplistic terms, trusting science is like, there have many other options, and trusting non-science and trusting witchcraft and so on. I think the biggest benefit would be discussing how can the influence of such big actors like governments or big companies who benefit from maliciously influencing research can be stopped and detected. Okay, I guess this is too much.
Thank you.
We have to leave. I am
Okay,
sorry.
bye-bye. Okay, can you just go one place more this way so we'll be more close and it's going to be easier to listen to each other.
Everything, come on.
Yes, back at the thank you so
Hey guys, somebody else want to add something? Nathan?
I'm also quite interested in the spirituality aspect because I think science has kind of killed some religions, I'll say, and what it's replaced it with bothers me, and I think science is almost like trying to take the magic out of our existence. Like, we don't have free will, and we're not, I don't know, connected in some deeper, meaningful way. And this actually really bothers me about the conversation. When people overdo science, it creeps into the realm of spirituality, and this is a problem for me, actually, because I think there is a lot of magic to who we are beyond which science can explain. And I don't know if other people have seen that or not as well.
Can I ask a question, like a follow-up?
Yes.
Can you tell me how it's connected to being honest, or maybe science being honest?
I think it's going beyond what it's good at. So it's given us all these great things, and we trust it too much to say that it can explain free will and it can explain these other things. And scientists kind of step into that, and they kind of like pretend like they can explain free will when they can't. Yeah.
So they are not honest about things that they don't understand.
Yes, that's what I think I see. Yeah.
So like, if I may ask, so you believe that...
Guys, okay, now it's fine because we have no hands raised up, but try to speak one per time. Yes. Stand up and speak.
Yeah, Mike. So you're trying to say that scientists made us believe that we're like kind of predestined to like to perform certain behaviors because this is our nature and we don't have influence over our decisions. It's just pure biology and chemistry. Yes?
Yes, I've heard people say things like altruism is, there is no such thing as altruism. We're always doing it for our own personal interests. And I don't believe that. I think you can actually you can do right by somebody else just because you can choose to. So I do believe in altruism, and I actually think that goes against scientific thought. I don't know.
Somebody want to add something? Otherwise, yeah, Chris.
I would like to just point out this like science, right? How science, the questions asked to scientists may be very, very cruel. For example, like in the 1980s, when the first HIV, like the symptoms were there, like first patients with patient zero and more, people started dying with AIDS, right? And there were first attempts to create a vaccine, some kind of drug to help those people, right? And, you know, scientific method requires like blind dividing people into two groups. One group of people receives placebo, and the other group receives the actual compound that may be effective or not. But imagine what those scientists were facing, right? You arrive to them for help, and they can give you, oh, I'm an honest scientist, I will do it as the art suggests. So you have 50% you will receive a placebo, or you will receive an actual drug. And those people were dying. So imagine like how the scientists should behave. Should we give the prospective drug to everyone and ignore the science? Or maybe we should know half of you will die for sure, and the other half may have some chance to survive. Right, so it's not always that easy to be big pharma, or it's not always that easy to be scientist, right? There is not always obvious questions, because like, what would you tell them? Imagine they arrive to you and you give them like 50%. I cannot tell you if this is like help or just water. I will give it to you, and if it's gonna help you, I don't know. But I need to be like an ethical scientist, so I will do it per art, or maybe I should give you the compound, and let's hope it will somehow help you, and let's ignore the science, right? So also we need to, it's not always easy to be a scientist, and like we also need to think about this, right? It's what do you do with such a patient who arrives to ask for help? 50% will give you help or nothing, I mean water, and you will never know if it was helpful or not. Yes, so let's think about this as well.
Thank you a lot. I don't know why, but today we have no hands up. It's just like somebody speaking, somebody. It's nice. I mean, if you want to do this way, for me it's even better, like work less. But usually you can even raise your hands while other people are speaking, as long as you think, okay, maybe I should add that, maybe I should add that. Feel free to do that.
I can take, this just takes the last point. So what I've learned about the Pfizer data, they held out a control group initially, and then for like 60 days or 90 days, and eventually gave them the vaccines because they felt like it was inhumane to not give them the vaccines. And what it means is we don't have a control group to measure for long-term COVID against. and the positives and negatives. So we actually can't measure the long-term impacts of the vaccines. So actually, I think scientists failed to do what you're saying they should do in that particular case.
Like this, right? It's always like a conundrum, right? If you should follow what your conscience says to you, which is like, you know, help those people, or maybe let's stick to the science, right? Because like, you know, like it's yeah, like with COVID it was like, you know, like it was much more difficult nowadays with COVID. With HIV at that time, people were desperate to get the drugs. They were just desperate, right? Like because people like with COVID, like 2% or 3% died of people who contacted COVID, and in that. 30 years ago, like having HIV was like a death sentence, right? So there would be no chance to survive. So people would even try, if they receive this placebo or not placebo, they tried even to analyze this compound to check if there is some unusual chemical there. To guess if I'm receiving the potential remedy or I'm just receiving water with sugar because of so I will be sacrificed on the altar of science, right? That was like 30 years ago. It was really horrible. Like, you know, there are many movies in Philadelphia. There was like Dallas Buyers Club as well. If you know this movie, Matthew McConaughey, right? There was like about the dying cowboy, like the very macho man who was dying because of HIV. There was even a movie about this, right? So, like, to be scientist or to be a compassionate person, right? That's two, you know, like it's never easy to do this. Right? With COVID, it's a bit recent. Yeah, there was out rush. COVID is probably the negative side.
Thank you. Somebody else want to add something? Because if nobody wants to add something, I'm going to change topic. Please say something about this topic if you still want to say something about this topic.
I could take one more thing.
Wait a second, because I would like to see the people that never spoke if they want to add something. Luz, actually, do you want to?
Just a second, I'm still
Focus.
connecting the dots. Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember your name, but I saw that you never spoke. Do you want to add something? Yeah, if you feel like. I'm not going to force it. As you wish.
Personally, I believe in science more than God. But even though I know that a lot of statistics and companies create foolish results to achieve some kind of good result for themselves and benefit from this. But for me, every time I try to research all the information and after this decide these results or statistics good or not, and maybe buy some medicine only after research and convincing myself that it's actually good and not foolish or just vitamins that not giving you benefit at all. So I think it's personal, and every person should be aware of some different kind of medicine or just different results or companies or other stuff which this person wants to follow. That's all.
Still here, I have somebody that never spoke.
Yeah, so my point is that we're very old age, and there was a scientist, dear scientist.
Can you stand up and speak louder because?
Also, I don't understand, but
okay.
I can
Okay.
make louder.
Let's wait. Okay. You can.
So there were a time that there were pagan people who had a spiritual access to the universe and who had more knowledge, but they were called witch by the church and they were killed. And after that, I guess they became together, but very hidden way, like a secret way. And after that, I guess we started science. we give it the name of science. And now I think more important question is, in that time we believed that it's true because we were going to that pagan place and they were really, how to say it, like they were really curious and they were really helpful. But nowadays we lost it because there are so many scientific people and we don't know if it is true or not. Like the question is, where did we lose the belief of the science? When there was no science, we had a belief. But when now there is a science, we have no belief, kind of.
Thank you. Yes?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of digesting what you all said and contributed. And I'm trying to refer to the aspect that you brought up about like the lack of divine existence, or let's say like God or magic in our life. And I'm wondering how you would perceive miracles, or like self-healing, or like hopeless cases where science gave no chances of survival, yet we see that these people are up and about and alive. And is it a matter that like the science can't explain now? Will it ever be explained? Is it like possible for a person to like heal and to like recover only by the strength of their will, or is it just science that we don't know?
Yes?
Okay, that was fast.
Yeah, very fast. Because today is...
Yeah, I can see.
Oh wow, it's gonna be an essay.
Really? No. Actually, I wanted to offer a different perspective, mostly because I think a lot of you speak from your perspective, from the, let's say, consumer perspective. So you're the one taking the vaccines, you're the one taking the meds, and you're the one actually receiving everything from media, right? So what actually the scientists are saying, and you're saying, well, is it honest? Are they telling us the truth? We don't really can, assess that, right? If we are not scientists ourselves, and that's all true. But my perspective would be, I am not a scientist. I am just wondering if I would be in their shoes. I would think, how much can you handle? How much stuff that you have no control over, right? If you, for example, hear something like along the lines of, you have no control over what's coming. We have no idea what it's gonna take to survive. We don't know how much of you will live. Would you like to hear this? I mean, would you help it? You know, for you, would it be helpful for you to know this? To plan your future, right? Because this is, I would say, this is like a terrifying gap. You just don't know. I would say that's the scientific method is about, because I think you said it already, right? The difference between all the stuff. And yeah, I'm absolutely for it, right? Scientific method, a different type of thinking. And I'm all for it, but is it really helpful for the public to know? And would you prefer to have a speck of hope in vaccines, for example? Right? And exactly right. You don't know what's going to happen afterwards. We have no control group. That's also true. But we don't have any better. Right? This is all we have. So the question is, would you prefer to be uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, especially because you have nothing to offer them. You are no scientist. You have no impact on what's happening, right? So it's better, I guess, to hear, well, wash your hands, right? Stay home, you'll be safe. And perhaps it gives you 1.5% of living, right? It doesn't really matter, it's all in your head. So that's my first question. So it's basically, I would say, it reminds me of knowing the future Spain. So basically, for example, I think that was in one of the books I read, and it was actually a fantasy one, so no, nothing. But the scene there, so the person who sees the future said, knowing the future is shaping it. So if she saw the future, she only saw one, let's say, a version of future that could result in what's already is done, right? And what she could do is to influence the decisions that were made right now that perhaps they have any contribution to the future. And I would see it like that. It's shaping the future in a way that that is perhaps less pain. Basically, because when people are scared, and scared for their lives, they will probably get violent, right? So you don't probably want us. You don't want Mad Max at your door, I guess, at least like that stuff. So I think the main question would be, it's a bit of a question of marketing. So how much can you take? And the other thing that I actually wanted to got out a bit, so about something more, right? That the science is depriving us of, because they either try to understand it and finish it with every last number they have, or they don't understand it and they try to say that it's, dismiss it, or perhaps say it's something else that it really is. If I get it right? Yeah?
I don't think they dismiss it. I think they pretend like they can explain.
That's what I meant, yes.
Yeah.
So the thing is, what I think... Whoa. Did I offend you?
No, we just need to leave.
So the question is also, by the way, because that's also something I had to I don't know, I had to take it a bit in a different topic, right? From people that thought this way. And I was on the science side, so I understand this, this tension. And the thing is, what I see it is, even if you understand it, for example, if you understand faith, because faith, as you said, is not knowing, it's believing, right? So if you understand faith and you understand, for example, and you believe, because this is the key question, let's say, that actually faith is something that you don't know and you can't really grasp it, and then you have something that tells you, well, faith is just a feeling in your head, right? And you can see it in a chemical reaction. I think it's as much valuable. And it's this is the hard part. It's your decision if you still think that if it's a chemical reaction, it's still valuable. When you know this, it's actually your choice if it's valuable or not. Because value is something humans make. There is no objective value to things or people or values or anything else. It's something you make, and it's something you choose. Even if you're told otherwise, for example by society, that you should value something, it's still up to you what you value. So if you want to value faith, if you know, even if you know, and it's, I don't know, scientifically proved that it's some kind of chemical reaction, like love or anything else at that time, right? Any emotion. It's up to you to see the value in it. Because you know you create it. That's it.
Thank you. So, actually what are we going to do now is to have 2 last minutes for Nathan to give us the conclusions. So, you will tell us if it was interesting for you and in which extent it was interesting for you, this discussion, and then we're going to do another thing.
I enjoyed it, and I think that I think we're at a reflection point in society where we're trying to figure out. I think we've taken for granted a lot of what science has given us, and I think we're we're looking to things like spirituality for some answers collectively. Getting into this kind of free will issue, for me personally, until science can explain, can tell me everything that I'm about to do, it leaves open the possibility for something that they don't know. And a scientist who tells me we don't have free will without being able to predict everything that I do is just being arrogant and pretending like they know more than they do. And that bothers me. I think for me there's a tendency to kind of propagandize scientific, and it's not necessarily scientists doing this, but to like make these sound bites of things like, oh, the earth is heating up really fast, or oh, vaccines work. These little short sound bites, and actually those don't represent the deeper scientific thought. Usually the deeper scientific thought is way more complicated. It's like 100 studies that some show positive results and some show negative results, and there's just a slight tendency towards positive, and the sound bites don't capture everything that's happening behind the scenes. But I still kind of hang on to this. There's an arrogance about science, and when they start to take away people's free will and people's sense of altruism, I don't think they're there yet, and I worry about that arrogance. I worry that we're starting to look at them a little bit like people used to look at priests, being able to predict the future, almost like a religious experience or something. And I don't think science has it yet. So that's my feeling about it. And yeah, really good discussion.
Okay, so thank you everybody. It was very interesting for me because actually it was a very hot topic that usually is not even possible to discuss on internet. And usually if you don't discuss on internet, you just don't discuss at all. Because real life is kind of a copy of internet discussions very often. So thank you everybody really so much for participating. Today we had a little bit of chaos. It won't happen again. Usually we have less chaos. Yes. People going around all the time and screaming at the bar. It's not like that usually. If you remember in CAFÈ when you came, it was not this way.
I love this.
Yes, I love it too, but it's too little for us. So we had to change, yes. So we will...
Stay here, or are you gonna look for other places?
I don't know, because actually for the philosophical evenings, this place I think is perfect. When we have like little tables, a lot of little tables around. Some of you already been, Jan has been, Lisa has been, Victor has been, Nathan has been, I don't remember, even you have been to the little tables discussions. And I think this place is great for those kind of things. But for Philosophical Cafe, I think that or really the owner will allow us to just take over the club just for us, or we have to change the place. I will discuss about it. Next week, in any case, we're going to have small tables and it's going to be here. So... No, you can speak.
No, nothing.
I can ask a question. Will the topics be the same again for the small table?
No. Actually, first of all, we could even always have the same topics because we're changing people, so it's always interesting because the moment of history is changing, moment of life of people is changing. So for example, if I'm meeting her now or 10 years ago, because actually we know each other from 10 years, it's not exactly the same person. I mean, very similar actually. You didn't grow old that much. I did. And so it's always changing even if you have the same topics. But this time I would like to make an experiment. So in the secret group on Facebook, everybody will be allowed to propose topics. Yes, you're going to have the link. You're going to have the link and you will be able to propose topics for the next week inside of the group. So propose the topics. I'm not sure if I will allow people to vote for topics because I would like to just have a lot of topics. And then, because small tables, you can choose your topic. You don't necessarily must have one. I mean, if one topic you don't like, you discuss another one. We don't have to vote. We have to vote when we are all together discussing the same one, and everybody must agree that, yes, we really want to discuss this specific one, otherwise I will go home. So in little tables, we don't have the same kind of problem. Little tables evening have named Philosophical Evening instead of Philosophical Cafe. And it's going to be here in 1 week, so feel free to join. I will be very happy if everybody will join. And for Philosophical Cafe, we will see, because I'm thinking about it, because it's very difficult to find a bar that is good for Philosophical Cafe. For Philosophical Evening, almost everything is good. But for Philosophical Cafe, we need silence, we need a good place where, for example, people can go to the bathroom without disturbing everybody else.
Arbar? Arbar.
Arbor could be an idea.
Because they have like a different room for RPG sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it's not connected to the rest of the place, so it's much.
Do you think that this room will be available in Sunday night?
I have no idea. You would have to ask them.
I will try
Try
to.
it.
I already had a couple of proposals for that.
Okay,
we will see. Because actually I'm not sure if it's, because I understand their point. I mean, if 3 people are coming but drinking like 10 beers each, they are more valuable than us for that. So we cannot shut them up.
Yeah.
So, yes, about Philosophical Evenings we're going to stay. And so next week is going to be here, it's going to be little tables. And now if you want to stay, we can still stay and discuss other topics all together, but in a free way. So we're just like staying here, having a drink, enjoying the time.
In a straight free way, it means it doesn't matter how you speak my left fist or right fist to consciousness.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be a free fight.
It's freestyle.
Yes, and we're going to take a picture. Victor, are you taking the picture? Thank you.